Welcome back, Focus Learners. Let's jump right into today's explainer. Today, we are prying open the black box of YouTube's algorithm. We're going to take its incredibly complex underlying deep learning architecture and translate it into real actionable strategies. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering how to actually work the YouTube algorithm to your advantage, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're skipping the basic advice today and looking straight at the actual engineering that drives the platform right now in 2026. But look, before we map out this technical journey, we really need a quick reality check. As Scratch perfectly puts it, its primary goal isn't to educate you. It's to keep your eyeballs glued to the screen for as long as humanly possible. That's the real behavioral engineering going on behind the scenes. We've got to be brutally honest about the system's objective function if we want any chance of understanding how it operates. It's not necessarily built to enrich your life, right? It is a machine, and it's designed to maximize a specific target metric. Knowing that is literally step one to mastering it. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the multi-layered machine. Second, the engineering funnel. Third, engagement, satisfaction, and relevance. Fourth, the 2026 session contribution shift. And finally, exactly how to work it. Let's get right into it. Part 1. The multi-layered machine. It is definitely more than just one engine. Okay, we need to start by debunking a super persistent myth. People always talk about the algorithm as if it's just this one big monolithic engine. It absolutely is not. YouTube actually runs multiple completely distinct recommendation systems at the exact same time, and they all care about very different signals. So search, that operates like a traditional search engine, matching your query intent using your titles and spoken content. Then you have suggested videos, which are just trying to keep your current viewing session going. But the homepage, that is where the real growth happens. Its primary job is to surface videos to start a brand new session, and it pushes content to non-subscribers based mainly on personalized click-through rates and watch time. If your homepage click-through rate is weak, your channel's growth is going to stall out, and that's regardless of how amazing your search SEO is. Moving on to part 2, the engineering funnel. Let's see how it filters out the noise. To truly understand how to work the YouTube algorithm, we have to look at the literal machine learning pipeline designed by Google brain researchers. This is the exact step-by-step journey a video takes from the moment it's uploaded to actually landing on a viewer's screen. Think about the sheer scale here for a second. YouTube takes your personal history and context, feeds it into a candidate generation phase to win out millions of videos down to just a few hundred, and then sends those survivors into a ranking network to pick the final couple dozen you actually see on your app. To make this a little easier to digest, let's use a metaphor. Step 1 is candidate generation. Think of this as the bouncer. With billions of videos out there, the system physically cannot deeply rank them all in real time. So the bouncer acts as a really fast, efficient first-pass filter. It uses collaborative filtering and dense vector embeddings to rapidly find a few hundred videos that generally match a user's broad tastes. Then, step 2 is the ranking engine. Let's call this the judge. The judge takes those few hundred surviving videos and meticulously scores them using a very heavy, computationally expensive neural network. Which brings us to part 3, engagement, satisfaction, and relevance. This is how candidates actually get scored. So how exactly does this judge make its final decision? Well, by using some very heavy machinery. It's a sophisticated deep neural network built on TensorFlow, and it ingests a massive combination of features right at the bottom. Things like video embeddings, language embeddings, the time since you last watched a video. It runs all of this through several layers of what engineers call rectified linear units, or ReLUs. But don't let the math scare you. This complex setup serves one ultimate purpose: predicting expected watch time. It desperately wants to know not just if a viewer is going to click, but exactly how long they're going to stick around. The algorithm is analyzing basically everything: your implicit watch history, your search queries, your demographics, what device you're on, and the video's language. But crucially, it also factors in a unique feature called example age. See, machine learning systems inherently bias toward the past because, well, they train on historical data. To correct for this, and to feed into our natural human bias for fresh, viral content, Google explicitly feeds the age of the video into the model as a core feature. This is exactly how the algorithm ensures newly uploaded content gets a fair shot at showing up on your homepage. Part 4. The Session Contribution Shift. The new 2026 paradigm. If you really want to work the YouTube algorithm today, you absolutely need to understand that the rules of the game have fundamentally changed for 2026. Back in the old days, like 2012 to around 2015, the algorithm rewarded cheap clicks and raw watch time. If you dragged a video out for 20 boring minutes, you won. That is the outdated goal. The 2026 reality is entirely different. Today, the algorithm demands what's called session contribution. This means the system is tracking if a viewer watched your video, felt genuinely satisfied by it, which they measure by things like survey responses, and whether they hit that brutal not interested button, and then, importantly, stayed on the platform to watch 2 or 3 more videos. So today, shorter videos with high retention and high satisfaction will heavily beat longer videos with low retention. This creates a really quirky reality when it comes to session contribution. I like to call it the quantum physics to screaming goat pipeline. Let's say you just finished a super heavy, mentally taxing documentary on quantum physics. The algorithm, which is optimizing for your total session duration, has learned probabilistically that after a really taxing video, your brain is highly susceptible to a cheap, easy dopamine hit. So what does it do? It serves you a video of the top 10 funny screaming goats. It knows there is a 70% chance you'll click on it, keeping you on the platform. It is honestly a masterclass in behavioral engineering, balancing heavy engagement with high probability clicks just to maximize your overall session. Finally, part 5, how to work it. Let's get into the actionable translation. All right, let's take all this crazy TensorFlow architecture and translate it into rapid-fire practical advice you can use right now. First up, consolidate your niche. By sticking to a really clear topic, you literally train the bouncer to know exactly whose embedding matches your videos. Second, if you're making shorts, the algorithm heavily weighs the swipe versus watch ratio, so you've got to hook viewers in the first 1 to 2 seconds. No slow buildups. Third, YouTube quietly shifted its engagement weights. Comments now massively outweigh cheap likes because they signal a much deeper level of viewer investment. Fourth, for the love of all things holy, drop the 2005-era clickbait. It absolutely tanks your viewer satisfaction metrics, and you will be penalized. And finally, build your videos into a series. Series formats perfectly align with that new session contribution goal because they naturally hand the viewer their next watch, keeping them on the platform way longer. I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. Knowing everything we just covered in this explainer about behavioral engineering, huge data funnels, and deep neural networks, ask yourself, are you building a machine just to exploit cheap clicks, or are you building a portfolio to earn trust? Because here in 2026, the algorithm has actually evolved to the point where optimizing for long-term viewer satisfaction and trust isn't just the nice thing to do, it's mathematically the most technically sound way to win. Thank you so much for joining me today, Focus Learners. Take these insights, go optimize your strategy, and I will see you in the next explainer.